to transition some of that rain over to snow, and we're going to see that trend across that part of Massachusetts, I think, for a few more hours. In Maine, it's snowing hard. Bangor, Maine had 2 inches a couple hours ago. They got probably another inch or two now beyond that, and it's going to continue to snow all afternoon across parts of Maine. And we think by early afternoon, the snow will go back over to rain if there is any left over by early afternoon. And then, of course, Bangor, Portland, Augusta, Maine. It is going to be snowing and blowing. Blizzard conditions possible. And things wind down by about 8 or 9 o'clock tonight. Guys, stay tuned for all the latest on this winter storm coming up after the break.
Currently in our area, 55 degrees under fair skies. Here's our 7-day outlook.
The Arctic blast takes on the coast. High waves, rain, and even the possibility of more than a foot of snow in northern Maine. We're tracking the system and what it means for your work week.
A chilly start to November, from snow in the Carolinas to record lows in Florida. Can you say hashtag Snowvember? How long will this cool winter weather last? Well, we're timing it out on today's system.
And all that snow shut down Smoky Mountain National Park in Tennessee. We're going to check in to see how they're dealing with the wintry mess.
Good morning to you. Welcome into Weather Center Live. It is Sunday, November 2nd. I'm Alex Wallace.
And I'm Jen Carfagno. A lot going on out there today. You saw the pictures from the Great Smoky Mountains. The park itself open, but the roads are closed, so you couldn't get there yesterday. We're going to get a status update on today. Plus, we've got the New York City Marathon. Plus, we've got Nick Wallenda making his walk across the Chicago skyline. And then Snowvember, as you talked about, Alex.
Yep, so lots and lots to track here for us. And, of course, it is Sunday, so we want to see those Sunday sunrise pictures. Like this one from Hardin, Kentucky. Tobias sending this in. Looks like a little bit of the cloud showing. Is that a little bit of fog?
Yeah, I think we have a nice fog layer out there.
All right.
Very nice.
Good stuff. So, of course, you can send us your pictures. Sunday sunrise at weather.com. That is the address.
All right, so we got a big storm here on the northeastern coast, and it's not a nor'easter, but it is a coastal storm, and we'll show you why. It has to do with the wind direction, and that's about it, because otherwise you're feeling like this is a nor'easter, right?
Exactly, yeah. Particularly here along that 95 corridor, we're pretty much all snow at this point.
Yeah, we've got snow from Bangor, where we've had already 2 inches officially measured from the National Weather Service there, all the way down to Portland, where we are changing over now to a wet snow.
And also, you notice here, just south of the Boston area, yeah, we've got a little bit of the blue showing up here, and that's going to be the sort of zone where we've got a little colder air in place where we could see some accumulation.
You know, it's been raining very heavily, and then when it rains it heavily, you get some cold air getting drugged down from the tops of the storm clouds out there. And so that helps with the cooling to get the air just cold enough to support snow. What you're also noticing is the wind, and the wind has been screaming from the north, or even in some cases the northeast, but mainly the north and a little bit northwest. And that's why we can't call it a nor'easter.
Exactly. You said screaming, no doubt, around the Nantucket area. We're talking gusts getting up over 40, 50 miles an hour. Crazy stuff.
All right, waves are up too, anywhere from looks like 8 to 12 to even up to close to 20 feet when you get offshore. But between the waves and that wind screaming out of the north, it is piling up the water in Nantucket. I saw some of the roads closed, coastal roads like Easy Drive. So we'll watch that concern through today.
And in fact, let's get you through today. Here's your Sunday as we head through it. The timestamp there to the top. There's the snow in the blue, the greens and the yellows Yellows where we have the rain. Notice Bangor in close to the Portland area. Caribou certainly all snow and lingering all the way through at least this evening.
All right, but it is moving up pretty quick. And in Boston, don't be surprised if you get some clearing by tonight out there. This whole thing is moving up quickly, but you are in it for today. And it's going to mean anywhere from 8 to 12 inches of snow for a good chunk of northern and eastern Maine. Caribou, you're probably 8 to 12 just south of there, just to get up in a little elevation. You could get 12 to 18 inches of snow.
Yeah, this is nothing to sneeze at here. And you know what? Again, those winds are going to continue to scream out there, even outside of the spots dealing with the precipitation. Very windy.
Speaking of windy, all night long, and it was very windy in the south. I heard it outside my house, but certainly in the mountains, and that's where we're going to go. We had big snows in the North Carolina mountains. Some spots got up to 22 to 30 inches of snow.
Ooh, yeah, it was not a joke. While we didn't see that much in and around Sugar Mountain, we did see some impressive totals out there for us. And you know what? We actually, the good news there at the area is the ski resort
Sugar
is
Mountain
open.
is opening today. Yeah, we have, let's see, the second earliest opening on record at Sugar Mountain. So the first earliest was after Sandy, and they picked up a decent amount of snow. But they got, more than a half foot. The snow guns have been blowing snow. The temperatures are below freezing, and that's enough to ski on, Alex. So they are good to go. Opening 3 minutes ago here at Sugar Mountain.
Sweet. Ski lovers, I'm sure, are loving that. Well, you know what we're going to deal with is things starting to warm up, and as that happens, rain returns. They're going to see that move into parts of the south. Let's talk about who's going to deal with this as we get into the early part of the week. Big dip in the jet stream here for us. The trough swinging on out from the west. Out ahead of that, guess what? Moisture and warmth will be on the increase out there for us. That's being pulled northward here with our cold frontal boundary moving in from the west. So that's the ingredients. You get a little moisture, cold front to help to lift some of that warm and moist air up. You get the showers and eventually a few storms. So tomorrow as we get the work week started off, Panhandle of Texas, around Amarillo, even around Lubbock, could see some storms spreading all the way up towards Wichita, the Kansas City area as well. Once we get into Tuesday, well, more action here, expanding now the areas that will have to deal with that rain. San Antonio, Austin, up to Dallas, up 35 to Oklahoma City, and eventually by Wednesday, we see the lower Mississippi Valley getting in on the threat for that shower and storm action. So Jackson heads up there midweek for some rain, up towards Memphis as well, even New Orleans having to deal with this. And notice here we're dealing with more rain in parts of South and Central Texas. This goes through Wednesday now, and some decent rains coming in. We can actually use some of this, some beneficial rains coming in. The areas that are in yellows where we could see some of the higher totals, those bullseyes, just to the south and east of San Antonio, and then also just to the east of Houston. That's where we could see 3 to 5 inches of that rain. Otherwise, a general 1 to 2 inches of rainfall for East Texas up through parts of the southern plains into the lower Mississippi Valley here as we head on through our early week to Wednesday. So Dallas, for you, here's how you'll fare. We'll get you into Monday, up around 77 degrees, so warming up nicely, but cloudy. Tuesday, bringing in some storms, and some of those could be on the heavy side with some of the heavy downpours before we dry out Wednesday into Thursday. Jen?
Alex, thank you. It is Sunday, so keep your sunrise pictures coming in. Snap one, email it to us at sundaysunrise@weather.com. Make sure you tell us your name and where you took the picture. We will show them throughout the show. And we've got your weekend covered, so let's take a look. We've got some great festivals going on. Now today in Portland, the Maine Brewers Festival is happening. What a mess of weather. We've got a little bit of rain, or a lot of bit of rain, a little bit of snow, and a lot of wind, and temperatures only in the 30s. So a very blustery, raw day out here today. We'll be right back with more.
There was no question she was the one. She reminds you every day. But your erectile dysfunction? That could be a question of blood flow. Cialis for daily use helps you be ready anytime the moment is right. You can be more confident in your ability to be ready. And the same Cialis is also the only daily ED tablet approved to treat symptoms of BPH, like needing to go frequently or urgently. Tell your doctor about all your medical conditions and medicines, and ask if your heart is healthy enough for sex. Do not take Cialis if you take nitrates for chest pain, as it may cause an unsafe drop in blood pressure. Do not drink alcohol in excess. Side effects may include headache, upset stomach, delayed backache, or muscle ache. To avoid long-term injury, get medical help right away for an erection lasting more than 4 hours. If you have any sudden decrease or loss in hearing or vision, or any symptoms of an allergic reaction, stop taking Cialis and get medical help right away. Ask your doctor about Cialis for daily use and a free 30-tablet trial.
Yeah, I'm married. Does it matter? You do that for me? Really? Yeah, I'd like that.
Who are you talking to?
It's Jake from State Farm. Sounds like a really good deal.
Jake from State Farm at 3 in the morning? Who is this?
It's Jake from State Farm.
What are you wearing, Jake from State Farm?
Khakis?
She sounds hideous.
Well, she's a guy, so...
Another reason more people stay with State Farm. Get to a better state. Thursday, a Weather Channel first, the Winter Weather Prep Rally, a day dedicated to prepping and surviving winter's worst.
Best advice, try not to travel.
In the morning.
You've got our winter weather outlook.
And at night.
This is an incredibly deadly time of year.
Yeah, it's brutal.
Watch the Winter Weather Prep Rally, Thursday morning and night on the Weather Channel.
Currently in our area, 55 degrees under fair skies. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Mike Bettis,
Look at that monster.
the National Weather Association's Broadcaster of the Year.
Stanley Steamer is the first carpet cleaning service certified asthma and allergy friendly. It's our new standard of clean. Call about our $99 carpet cleaning special.
Call 1-800-STEAMER. Stanley Steamer, your certified cleaner.
That disease is for older people, not me. I take good care of myself. I'm active. I never saw it coming. It hit me like a ton of bricks. Pneumococcal pneumonia was horrible. The fatigue, the chest pains, difficulty breathing. It put me in the hospital. You don't want to go through what I did.
If you're over 50, talk to your doctor. You may be able to prevent it.
Thought it'd be bigger.
There's nothing I can't reach in my Subaru.
Introducing the all-new Subaru Outback. Love, it's what makes a Subaru a Subaru.
Well, Snowvember. That brought nearly 2 feet of snow to the mountaintops of Smoky Mountain National Park. The area actually got 22 inches of snow, and at one point yesterday, all roads leading into the park were closed.
Joining us now on the phone with an update on conditions is National Park Service spokesperson Brent Everett. Brent, good morning to you. Are roads still closed in the area?
Good morning. Yes, most of the roads in the park are still closed. Visitors can access the main visitor centers, but most of the main throughways and outlying areas are still closed.
Now, Brent, were there any accidents during this snowy time?
Luckily, we didn't have any major motor vehicle accidents. We did have a hiker get injured by a falling tree, which is our main concern, considering there's a lot of foliage still on the trees here in the park. It can really bring those trees down at any time.
You know, let's talk about people in the park, though. So the roads are closed, but is the park itself closed?
No, the park is open. So, you know, there are many things to do in the park. So if you want to come and hike or walk around or visit the visitor centers, you're more than welcome to do that. We just want people to be aware that once they get to the visitor center, that's as far as they're going to go in their car at this time.
And Brent, now, any estimate on when roads may reopen?
We've got road crews working very hard all the way throughout the park right now. Main concern is just clearing out those hazardous trees and plowing up the snow at the higher elevations. So sometime this afternoon, we hope to get those major roads open.
All right, Brent Everett with the National Park Service, thank you so much for joining us, and enjoy your snow out there today.
All right, well, today millions going to be watching Nick Wallenda as he attempts his most daring walk yet.
More than 600 feet above the ground, he will tightrope from one Chicago skyscraper to another. Our Jim Cantori will be there for it all and monitoring the weather conditions for Nick. He joins us live again this morning. So, Jim, you talked about the cold a lot, and the concern is, because Nick is from Sarasota. But what about the changing winds through today? Was there a threshold at which he won't walk?
There is a threshold, and he told me 2 days ago, he goes, Jim, gust to 50, I'm not walking. I mean, if you remember when he was in the Grand Canyon, gusted to 48 miles per hour, he literally went down on one knee and waited out that wind gust, that thermal that came up from the bottom. But of course, remember, you can't see the wind, so you don't know when that is going to come. So what we're going to have to deal with here is just something that we can just tell him the wind direction and hope we don't get any weird eddies around that building. Guys, the first walk again is from the West Tower over to the top of the Leo Burnett. You can see the wire right there. No thicker than a nickel, by the way. And what's interesting too is how are the winds going to play around that building? Because we're going to have a due south wind. So you're going to have eddies on both sides, right? You're going to have a rotor that develops on the top. So it'll be real interesting, I think, once Nick gets from about the middle of the wire on up to the top of the Leo Burnett, because he may actually have changing winds, a calmness of the wind, and a wind at his face, and maybe even a wind at his back, depending on how those eddies actually develop. Then, of course, there's the shorter walk right there between these the two Marina towers, 94 feet. But again, you're talking about something that's no wider than a nickel there in terms of its length, but he will be blindfolded. He will be blindfolded, which is just beyond my comprehension. Now, the difference here is you'll have a crosswind. The winds will be coming across him here out of the south as opposed to at his face. So just a wild ride. Let's check out the forecast, guys. Here we go, 6, 7, 8, and 9. We'll take a look at all these hours here. The walk, of course, will take place between 8 and 9 o'clock, more later in the 8 o'clock hour. But you'll notice the temperature's dropping to 44. Our winds will be out of the south generally with a little southwest component potentially, but right around 14 miles an hour sustained. We may gust to 20 miles per hour. But the point is wind chills are down in the 30s. And like I said, Jen, you mentioned at the top, for someone from Sarasota, Florida, that's a tough adjustment with no gloves or hat. Back to you.
All right, Jim, thank you. I mean, folks in Florida this morning, I've been watching their tweets. It's cold for them. And so, yeah, it's going to be a real concern tonight.
Absolutely. Well, you can watch it all. The walk taking place live tonight at 7 o'clock.
And Jim will be co-hosting along with Willie Geist and Natalie Morales. It all starts at 7 on the Discovery Channel. All right, it's Sunday. Keep your sunrise pictures coming in. We'll show them a little later this morning.
When we're having this much fun, why quit? And Bounty has no quit in it either. Watch how one sheet of Bounty keeps working, while their 2 sheets just quit. Bounty, the no-quit picker-upper.
Tomcat bait kills up to 12 mice, faster than Decon. What will we do with all of these dead mice? Tomcat presents Dead Mouse Theater.
Hey, old frick.
Hey, Ignore.
What's up with you?
Funny you ask. I'm actually here to pillage your town.
But we went to summer camp together.
Summer camp is over.
Tomcat. Engineered to kill.
This is a pip.
It's part of a Hershey's bar.
We break it.
We bite it.
We sneak it.
We smush it. We savor it.
We love it.
Hershey's is mine. Yours.
Our chocolate.
Man, these boneless chicken wings are great.
Yeah, I know, and I finally found myself a wingman.
You're gonna use the wing as your wingman?
Yeah, for the ladies.
How is that gonna help you at all?
It's gonna make me irresistible.
Oh, right. Yeah, gonna give you that certain je ne sais quoi.
Jenna said what?
Jenna?
Did she mention me by name, or was it just kind of like, was she just talking in general?
I said je ne sais quoi.
I know, but what did she say?
Be a wingman with new all-white meat boneless chicken wings in 3 flavors, and treat yourself to a new waffle cone sundae. This is how you Sonic.
Making jackets that are built to perform anywhere is hard work. And at LL Bean, we take our job very seriously. Guaranteed quality, no matter what you're up against. From LL Bean.
Monday morning on the
the Weather Channel, a daredevil's tightrope walk 50 stories over windy Chicago. Jim Cantori's there to show us how dangerous the weather got. Plus, could the new pocket of Arctic air keep people from...
The tingling, the stabbing and shooting pains, the numbness, the burning. Has life with diabetes become a pain? If you're suffering from pain in your feet, known as diabetic neuropathy, we invite you to learn more about the Rhapsody Study. Talk to your doctor or visit rhapsodystudy.com.
Want to lose denture paste, ooze?
I do. It's yucky.
Chewy.
Oh, that paste is nasty.
C-Bond wafers whole clean with no ooze.
Oh, that's neat.
Oh, yeah. C-Bond. Lose the ooze.
You the man.
Oh, no. In the mouth.
That's me 12 years ago in my Albolene commercial.
And your skin still looks so young.
Well, I never take off my makeup with soap and water. Too drying. I use Albolene.
Albolene for younger looking skin. And something new, Albolene in a convenient tube.
91, that's 1-800-985-5891.
Thursday, a day dedicated to prepping and surviving winter's worst.
Yeah, it's brutal.
Watch the Winter Weather Prep Rally Thursday morning and night on the Weather Channel.
Currently in our area, 57 degrees under fair skies. Here's our 7-day outlook.
We got winter storm warnings up for much of Maine, and we're expecting the heavy snow, the gusty winds for northern and eastern parts of the state.
NBC's Dylan Dreyer joins us from Bangor with more on how this coastal storm and its impacts.
Here in Bangor, Maine, it's not unusual to see our first snowfall of the season in early November, but it is unusual to get nearly a foot of snow this early in the season. The first average snowfall of 12 inches or more usually occurs closer to Christmas time. Now, this is the same storm system that brought record-breaking snowfall all the way down to the south, and there was a second storm system that brought rain and snow to parts of California. So these early season storms making a mess of both coasts. Winds nearly 50 miles per hour slammed into Scituate, Massachusetts late on Saturday. Storm-tested New Englanders watched the ocean wash over the seawall.
We were in the blizzard of 78, and, so it's nothing new for us.
Hardy fans in North Carolina braved blizzard conditions to watch Appalachian State bury Georgia State on the snowy field.
Layers, lots of layers.
Elsewhere in North Carolina, a half foot of snow was more than enough to send cars skidding off the road. Georgia roads were perilous too in the early hours of Saturday morning. It's never snowed this early in Columbia, South Carolina. Temperatures were in the 80s just a few days ago. A vacation lodge in the Tennessee mountains tweeted out these pictures, digging out from nearly 2 feet of snow. In Chicago, it was a 65-mile-per-hour wind gust that knocked down light poles and swept 20-foot swells from Lake Michigan onto Lakeshore Drive. Out west, north of Los Angeles, parts of Ventura County are a muddy mess after heavy rains unleashed dirt and debris. 11 homes were evacuated. Firefighters rescued a man stuck waist deep in the mud. And Northern California was unprepared for nearly 6 inches of snow so early in the season.
First snowfall is always the hardest because it hits us the fastest, and we don't really know. A lot of people are unaware, don't really know what to do.
Now here in Bangor, the conditions have been deteriorating rapidly. We already have about 2 to 3 inches of snow on the ground. Visibility has been reduced down to a half a mile at times, and winds have already gusted up near 40 miles per hour. We will see conditions deteriorate through the day today as this storm strengthens off to our south and east. Now it is going to race away by tomorrow morning, but there is the possibility, especially in this area away from the immediate coast, where Maine could pick up about 9 to 12 inches of snow out of this storm system. Jen and Alex.
All right, do you want to build a snowman? Already, we're talking about big snows up here in Maine, and certainly got it yesterday in the south. So what else could we possibly have in store with this storm system?
Well, let's find out. We've got our winter weather update time with Dr. Greg Postel. He's in the lab.
Alex and Jen, thank you very much. You know, we're starting to see rain go over to snow in parts of southeastern Massachusetts. Here's a webcam from Cape Cod Canal showing, for the most part, there's some flakes flying through here. There's no doubt about that. And it's probably a mixture, right, of rain and snow here. But it's very windy. Every once in a while I see this tree over here get whacked by some pretty high winds. And that's the theme all up and down the coast. That area is right about in here. And we are looking for a total maybe of 1 to 3 inches in parts of southeastern Massachusetts with snow going today. That's the tricky part of the forecast. I think the less hard part is up in here. We know they're going to get a lot of snow in Maine and a lot of wind, thanks to this powerhouse of a storm out there. It's got a 988 pressure on the low, best I could find from any observations nearby. But the interesting part about it is what happens on the northwest side of these things. And for these extratropical cyclones, these mid-latitude systems, the most exciting part of the weather usually comes on that northwest quadrant right in there, where there is a lot of lift in the atmosphere, and that cools the atmosphere aloft. So you can be 35 degrees and raining, and then it go over to snow, even though you're still above freezing near the ground. That's what's happening right here, right now. All these blues now, it is snowing where the temperatures are above freezing because the air aloft has gotten a lot cooler with the lift, the ascent in that part of the storm system. Farther to the north, it's all snow, and here the surface temperatures are at or below freezing, so it's accumulating everywhere and doing so quickly, and there's a lot of wind. Some of these numbers are pretty impressive. Pick your spot here on the map. I always love going to Mount Washington on the observations. They earlier gusted to 81, and look at what happens during the afternoon hours, guys. The rain pretty much takes over in southeastern Mass this afternoon as temperatures aloft warm up, and then the snow moves away from Maine by about 10 or 11 o'clock tonight. Alex and Jen, back to you.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Postel. Well, we want to check out some Sunday sunrise pictures that you sent in.
Let's go to Long Beach Island, New Jersey, and it's a beautiful start when you look out the window or from your patio perhaps, but it's freezing out there this morning with the wind. Next we go to Aurora, Colorado, a beautiful start to what's going to be a warm day.
Already seen.
I have the worst cold with this runny nose. I better take something.
Dayquil Cold and Flu doesn't treat your runny nose.
Seriously?
Alka-Seltzer Plus Cold and Cough fights your worst cold symptoms plus your runny nose.
Oh, what a relief it is.
It's Chevy Truck Month, time when truck guys can depend on great offers on the 2014 North American Truck of the Year. Chevy Silverado, from the family of the most dependable, longest-lasting full-size pickups on the road. It's Truck Month. Trade up to this Silverado Crew Cab LT All-Star Edition for a total value of $8,500. It's Truck Month. See your local Chevy dealer today.
Hi. Are we still on for tomorrow?
Tomorrow. Quick look at the weather. Nice today, beautiful tomorrow.
Tomorrow is full of promise.
We can come back tomorrow.
And we promise to keep it that way. Driven to preserve the environment, CSX moves a ton of freight nearly 450 miles on 1 gallon of fuel.
What a day.
Can't wait till tomorrow.
Great rates for great rides. Geico Motorcycle. See how much you could save.
From residential to commercial, from large loss to emergency response. Whenever damage strikes, call on the cleanup team that's faster to any size disaster at 1-800-SERVPRO, like it never even happened.
right, these should be good. Oh, well, that didn't work. Henry? Gorilla. It never works. Gorilla Super Glue. Of course.
Other super glues get brittle and break. Gorilla Super Glue's rubber-toughened formula holds even after repeated drops and bumps.
Oh, thanks. You know, this reminds me of the time, and you're gone.
Gorilla Super Glue for the toughest jobs on planet Earth.
We love
chocolatey,
creamy with a little something extra.
Deliciousness.
Cookies
Or almonds.
yumminess. Hershey's is mine.
Yours, our chocolate.
CNBC Wednesday nights, we're wheelin' and dealin'. The race is on with Shark Tank at 8 and 9 Eastern. Then it's the Car Chaser season premiere, Wednesday at 10. CNBC Wednesday night, wheelin' and dealin' on the fastest growing network in prime time. CNBC.
Currently in our area, 57 degrees under fair skies. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Thursday, a day dedicated to prepping and surviving winter's worst.
Yeah, it's brutal.
Watch the Winter Weather Prep Rally Thursday morning and night on the Weather Channel.
Well, huge waves and heavy rain pelt the coast of Maine, and that's just a preview of what we could see later today. With more than a foot of snow expected in some areas, this Arctic blast is far from over.
And blown away by the competition and blown away by the strong winds. We'll show you the conditions runners face today as the New York City Marathon gets underway.
And guys, good afternoon from Chicago here. Good morning, actually. I don't even know what time it is. As you can see, we are standing right in front of the wire. This is the first wire that Nick Wallenda will walk, and we will talk about how the weather conditions may affect that walk. Being from Sarasota, Florida, this windy, cold weather in Chicago may have an impact on Nick. We'll talk about it coming up.
All right, well, welcome back into Weather Center Live. I'm Alex Walters.
And I'm Jen Carfagno. This Arctic blast has had a grip on the nation since Friday, and it is hanging on. It is cold, record-breaking cold in Florida, and it is snowing in Maine this morning.
It is. As you were just mentioning before we came back from break, Portland now switching over to a bit of snow.
Go to your windows. You got to see this. I love when the changeover from rain to snow happens. Big flakes, I'm sure, out there in Portland. We can show you if you're not there.
Yeah, exactly. So let's show you what's going on across parts of New England as we've got that changeover taking place. You look a little closely, you can see some of them trying to sort of flake on by there for you. But the problem is also winds in the area. That has knocked out power to about 8,000 customers. Not a good scenario there. But let's find out what's going to take place with this coastal system, how long it's going to last, and what impacts we'll find now with Jen.
It's definitely changing over to snow. You could see it from this vantage point here in Portland. And elsewhere, it's been snowing this morning, like in Bangor, where we picked up 3 inches already, and now we're getting a half-mile visibility and snow, and that's definitely an accumulating snow for you. Let's go down to Boston, where it is not snowing. It is raining. You kind of wish it was snow, don't you? It's 39 degrees. It is windy with winds gusting over 30 miles per hour. It feels like it's in the 20s. And Boston, I know on the radar, it's showing us that we might be seeing some snow, and we might be. It's in some cases, it's probably just not reaching the ground, but you might see a flake or two out there. It's just not the kind of snow that you're getting in Bangor, Maine, where it is accumulating. It is sticking out there this morning. Now, in Maine, we've had some heavier bands come on in. These brighter colors indicate where you're getting the heavier snow. Just to the south and west of Bangor right here, this band, no doubt, is some S+, which is heavy heavy snow, and that's really going to stick when it comes to the accumulation. Also, the winds are blowing around the snow that's falling, causing some drifting snow. The wind is blowing around the rain. The wind is blowing around the sea, and we're getting some coastal flooding. And the winds are gusting over 30 or 40 miles per hour, and that is going to continue through at least the afternoon, and not weakening that much, but weakening somewhat into the late afternoon. Now, look at waves, too. Waves are up anywhere from 8 to 12 to even 20 feet offshore, so certainly craft in port today. I think that goes without saying. But let's track the precipitation and time it out for you. So we take you through lunchtime, and we're still getting this wintry mix in spots here in southern New England. We're still getting the snow in Maine all the way through this afternoon and evening, 6, 7 o'clock. Now you see it's starting to pull out of Maine. In Portland, by this point, we are just cloudy. We're drying out. The snow pulling out of northern and eastern Maine by overnight tonight, and Boston by late tonight. Your skies are going to start clearing out here. In terms of how much, we are talking more than a foot of snow at some of the highest totals coming out of Maine by later today. Alex.
All right. Well, you know, cities covered in snow from this weekend's Arctic blast. We're not just talking the northern tier. These are scenes from Asheville, North Carolina. This backyard completely covered. That's likely the case for much of the city. Yesterday, some areas saw up to 5 inches of snow. And you'll probably see the term Snowvember a lot on social media today. With such a snowy start to the month, bringing some of you your first snowflakes of the season. In North Carolina, the mountains could not have been prettier. And that's where we find our very own Mike Seidel. He's at Sugar Mountain. Mike, the slope's open, and I'm sure a delight for those ski lovers.
Yeah, they're driving from far and wide. We've got a couple snowboarders here. We have Luke and we have Charles, and you drove from where?
Charleston, South Carolina.
How far is that?
5.5 hours of drive.
So as soon as you saw the snow on the Weather Channel, you were on the road, huh?
Yes.
Now, Luke just told me this is his first time snowboarding. Was this the first time down the hill?
Yes.
How do you think you did?
I think I did all right.
I think you looked pretty good, darn good coming down the hill. What do you think? Was he smooth as silk?
He was incredible for a first time snowboard, I think.
Wow, that's very impressive. Now you've got the bug. Now you've got the adrenaline, huh?
Yeah.
There you go. Luke and Charles, hey, enjoy your day up here. And don't let those snowboard legs get to you, okay? All the way from Charleston, South Carolina, a lot of people coming up to the mountains to enjoy the opening day here at Sugar Mountain. Temperature right now in the low 20s. We've had anywhere from 6 to 10 inches of powder because it was so cold yesterday. And now we have certainly the man-made snow. There are the guns. Here come some of the skiers down the slope and getting their first runs in of the season. They only have a couple slopes open up to 3/4, and they'll be skiing here till 4:30 this afternoon. So, Jen and Alex, how good is this for the second day of November in North Carolina? Head south to ski.
It's awesome. I want to go. I mean, I can make it up there, I think.
Yeah, you got time. Yeah.
All right, if I leave the show early, you know where to find me. Mike, thank you.
All right, well, today more than 1 million people are going to be lining the streets of New York to cheer off on those thousands who are running in this year's New York City Marathon.
This morning, our Reagan Medji is live in New York, where runners have already hit the ground.
Well, we're here on Staten Island in New York City, and this is the starting point of the 44th annual New York City Marathon. Now, 50,000 participants are expected to cross that finish line in Central Park in Manhattan. And of course, the biggest factor today, as you can tell with my hair blowing in the wind, is the wind itself. Now, we talked about the participants. I'm joined now by a first-time marathon runner, Amy Falkenbach of New York City, formerly of Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. And basically, you know, this is the first time you're running. So what is going through your mind at this point, specifically because of the weather?
I'm a little nervous. It's very, very windy. I'm just trying to stay warm till I take off at 11. So I have a bit of time to hang out, but...
So you got a lot of time to think.
I've got a lot of time.
So now you were on the bus this morning. They have to actually meet in Manhattan. They get shipped here. What was the talk in the bus?
People were talking about the wind and how you should stay in the middle of the pack to avoid the gusts. So hopefully that will work in my advantage. I'll try to stay in the middle, but we'll see.
Okay. Okay. And now also, there's also like a cause greater than just running for yourself. You're also running for your mom. Explain that.
I'm running for Fred's team. They fight against cancer. My mom's fighting colon cancer right now. So we're raising money for that, and it should be a great cause, and I'm excited for today.
Right.
So.
And good luck to you, and of course, good luck to your mom. Of course, the 44th New York City Marathon here, starting at Staten Island. Of course, the wind, a huge factor. Back to you.
All right, Reagan, very true, and great stories to tell there. Everyone has a story running the New York City Marathon here. It's a very personal race, and you're trying to get your best time. You are going to be working against the wind today, so that start across the Arizona Narrows Bridge is going to be a crosswind, and then you're pretty much in a headwind as you make your way from Brooklyn into Queens. You cross over the Queensboro Bridge into Manhattan, another headwind, and then take you all the way up to the Bronx, and we'll be dealing with a headwind. Only tailwind is coming down Central Park, down 5th Avenue. Alex.
All right, well, lava from Kilauea volcano has stalled just feet away from the Hawaiian town of Pahoa. Some lava has been breaking out, but the threat remains about 500 feet from the town's main road. The lava has been streaming down the volcano's flank toward the northeast since June. Scientists originally thought the lava flow was going to reach the town yesterday. So a bit of good news there, slowing down a bit. Of course, we'll keep following that. Let's head back into the lower 48 and talk about who's having the absolute worst weather here for our Sunday. We'll run down the top 5. Here we are in Olympia, Washington. Soggy conditions, 50s. Not good. How about at number 4? Work our way into the middle of the country in Wichita, where it's going to be a bit on the windy side. The good news here, I guess, southerly wind, so we're warming up a notch. Coming in at number 3, Hartford, Connecticut. Look at this, mid-40s, clouds and wind. And then at number 2, Caribou, Maine. Snowy and heavy at times. Number 1 coming up next.
Currently in our area, 60 degrees under fair skies. Here's our 7-day outlook.
When your house loses power, it can be tough for your family. But not if your family has a Kohler generator. Restores power automatically in as little as 10 seconds and is backed by a 5-year limited warranty. Kohler generators. Keep your family flowing.
When the power goes out, you'll go on. Contact your Kohler Generators dealer today.
Now, Centrum Silver has a new easy-to-swallow coating. So the nutrients for your eyes, heart, and brain go down easier. For a limited time, get your $4 coupon at Centrum.com.
Hershey's Miniatures. Choosing is half the fun. Because there's a little something delicious for everyone. Hershey's Miniatures. Choose your own delicious.
There it is. This is where I met your grandpa. Right under this tree.
Some things are worth holding on to.
They're hugging the tree.
That's why we got a Subaru.
Was it that tree?
Introducing the all-new Subaru Outback. Love, it's what makes a Subaru a Subaru.
At Ancestry, we call it a hint. Our little leaf that helps guide you through the past. Simply type in a name and you're taken on a journey. A journey that crosses generations and continents. All to tell the most amazing story. Yours. Discover your story. Start searching for free now at Ancestry.com.
There once was a hungry road that ate up tires, wearing down the tread and wearing out safety, leaving worried drivers with no choice but to buy new ones. Then along came the Michelin Man who proved the right tire changes everything. putting those drivers back on the road with safety that lasts. Find the right tire for you at MichelinMan.com. Michelin, a better way forward.
Under the roof of a home or business, damage can happen. When it does, turn to the specialists who put help in the palm of your hand. The Ready App and emergency response plans from 1-800-SERVPRO, like it never even happened.
Andrew, Rita, Sandy. Meet Chris, Jackie, Joe. Minor damage or major disaster. When you need us most, we're there. State Farm. We're a force of nature, too.
The getaway vehicle.
For all the confidence you need. TD Ameritrade. You got this.
All right, so before the break, we're counting down who's having the worst weather this weekend. Starting at number 5 in the Northwest, Olympia with the rainy, soggy conditions. Then in the Plains, Wichita, we've got the wind. Then we get to Hartford into the Northeast. Cloudy and windy here for you. At least we'll be dry in Hartford. Not the case in Caribou, where we've got snow, and at times that could be heavy. All right, who's coming in at number 1? We're going to work our way still in New England and take you to Foxborough. And I gave you the edge on being the worst because if it's going to be in the 30s, let's have it be all snow. But that's not going to be the case. Going to be mixing rain and snow out there for you for the day. And, of course, going to be very windy. We'll see if that impacts the big game as well with the Broncos and the Patriots. Jen?
All right, Alex, thank you. Now, let's talk about, Nick Walenda's walk today across the Chicago skyline. 600 feet in the air, his tightrope, and a prayer. And Jim Cantori with him. So Jim Cantori is there. He's going to be providing all the weather information today for Nick Walenda. And Jim, as we look out over the skyline right now, what I can't help but notice is just how clear and blue the sky is.
Oh, it's absolutely beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous day. That sun feels so warm. Jen, I got to be honest with you, but of course we won't have that luxury tonight. The entire walk, the entire broadcast on Discovery will be after dark. Just to give you a quick idea here, I'm going to ask my cameraman Gary to kind of show you down here. We're going to come over just to show you kind of where I am. Yeah, we're up here a little bit. We're on the Marina East Tower. We're up here a ways. And of course, imagine being on a wire that's no thicker than a nickel. That's it. That's what Nick's going to do. First, he's going to do it from the West Tower over to the Leo Burnett. And then he's going to do it blindfolded from the West Tower over to the East Tower. Obviously a shorter walk, but still blindfolded. That's absolutely amazing. All right, well, he's been training for both of these, an incline walk and a blindfold walk, and we caught up with him down at his home in Sarasota, Florida, and that's really, the big deal. It was nice. It was October weather. It's beautiful in Florida that time of the year, almost even a little bit humid, just the complete opposite of what we've got here going on in Chicago. So the forecast as we see it right now, and not much has changed from what we saw the last couple of days, but I do expect temperatures in the low to mid 40s. All right, especially from about 8 to 9 o'clock, which is when he's going to walk here Eastern time. 30s in terms of the wind chills, because we'll have these south winds at about 14 miles per hour. And guys, the biggest unknown is what's going to happen with those south winds around the Leo Burnett building. There will be eddies this way. There will be rotors from the top down. So it'll be interesting to see what happens when that wind hits or doesn't hit Nick as he's walking from about midwire up the steepest part of the incline. He said it to me the other day. He goes, Jim, I would prefer a headwind. That helps hold me up a little bit because I'll be leaning uphill anyway. But if the winds come around and hit him from the back, depending on which way they flow around that building, that could be something that catches him off guard. We'll just have to wait and see. Guys, back to you.
All right, Jim, kind of like it reminds me of an airplane landing, right? They prefer to land in a headwind. I feel like it's a little more controllable that way.
That's exactly right.
Now,
that's exactly right, Jen. The aircraft wants to come in, with the wind at them, gives them a little extra lift, holds them up a little bit so they can make a nice smooth landing. If a wind is cross, as we saw from people coming into Chicago the other day, it's a whole different animal. And this wire here, this is actually the blindfold wire here, going from the west tower over to the east tower. It's only about 94 feet, but again, remember, Nick's going to be blindfolded, and the wind is going to be coming across him from his right side to his left side. All right, so he, the wind on his face, a different, type of wind may actually take his senses away a little bit. But, this is a driven man. He wants to do this. Whether it's blindfolded or standing on his head, he's going to do it, and he's determined to do it. We talked to his dad earlier on today, and he said, you know what, I feel like Nick's ready for this. Last night he kind of came over the fears and just was pretty much at ease, and he's ready to go. So tonight, a big night for Nick Wallenda and his family. Guys, back to you.
No, for sure. Jim Cantore, thank you. And you can watch the walk live tonight at 7. Jim will be co-hosting along with Willie Geist and Natalie Morales. It all starts at 7 on Discovery.
Wow, I tell you, this is one for the ages here. I'll be tuned in, no doubt.
The wind thing is very interesting. I wonder if the prevailing winds that you get in Chicago had anything to do with where they decide to set up.
That's a good question.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll check in with Jim again and talk more about that. Plus, we'll be checking back in with the New York City Marathon. You got a lot of cold people out there waiting to get running.
That's right. Chilly start to things, but you know what? That's not going to stop these guys. They're getting out there and they're going to beat this thing with no problem.
Okay, Patrick, one more stop. Let's go base, sharp, blitz. Base, sharp, blitz.
When the game's on the line.
Okay, this is for the game.
The NFL trusts Duracell Quantum to power their game day communication.
Block 19's on. Abort, he's keeping it.
Duracell Quantum lasts up to 35% longer than the competition.
From restoring damage in just one room to an entire building, turn to the cleanup team that's here in your community and here to help at 1-800-SERVE-PRO, like it never even happened.
Currently in our area, 60 degrees under fair skies. Here's our 7-day outlook.
She inspires you. No question about that. But your erectile dysfunction? That could be a question of blood flow. Cialis Tadalafil for daily use helps you be ready anytime the moment's right. You can be more confident in your ability to be ready. And the same Cialis is the only daily ED tablet approved to treat ED and symptoms of BPH, like needing to go frequently or urgently. Tell your doctor about all your medical conditions and medicines, and ask if your heart is healthy enough for sex. Do not take Cialis if you take nitrates for chest pain, as it may cause an unsafe drop in blood pressure. Do not drink alcohol in excess. Side effects may include headache, upset stomach, delayed backache, or muscle ache. To avoid long-term injury, get medical help right away for an erection lasting more than 4 hours. If you have any sudden decrease or loss in hearing or vision, or any allergic reactions like rash, hives, swelling of the lips, tongue, or throat, or difficulty breathing or swallowing, stop taking Cialis and get medical help right away. Ask your doctor about Cialis for daily use and a free 30-tablet trial.
discovery.
Can you start tomorrow?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Let's share the news tomorrow. Today we're fairly busy. Tomorrow we're booked solid.
We close on the house tomorrow.
Want one of these opened up? Because tomorrow we go live, everybody.
It's a day full of promise. And often, that day arrives by train.
Big day today? Even
Alltech Roofing, the area's premier roofing company since 1984. We are a family-owned and operated business, and we specialize in roof replacement, repair, and new construction of all roof types. Alltech Roofing is proud to have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau and have received numerous awards for quality and workmanship. Join our legions of satisfied customers today by calling Alltech Roofing for a free quote on any of your roofing needs.
Take any client when you accept credit cards with Square. There's one low rate for every card. And you see money in your bank account as fast as the next business day. Schedule appointments, send text reminders, and learn how to keep clients coming back with real-time sales reports. Take care of your business with Square. Get started for free at square.com.
And even pay the return postage. Try NoNo risk-free today.
Mike Bettis.
Look at that monster.
The National Weather Association's Broadcaster of the Year.
All right, it's snowing, Portland, Maine. Wow. So we've been watching this tower cam all morning. It was a chilly rain, it was blustery, it was windy, and a little bit of snow in the last 20 minutes. But Alex, look at this.
Yep, you start to get that snow coming down out there. What are we now? A mile and a half?
A mile and a half visibility.
Winds gusting over 30 miles per hour. So that's the picture there in Portland. And you know what? It's caused some issues, those winds. We're talking 8,000 customers without power.
All right, so it's a north wind, though, in Portland and throughout much of the Northeast. And because of that north wind, we can't call this thing a nor'easter, but we can call it a coastal storm. And Greg Postel standing by in the Weather Lab. This coastal storm definitely means business.
Yeah, it does, Jen. And I have a question for you guys. I mean, there's a northeast wind somewhere, right? So somewhere out in the water, there's definitely, you got a cyclone, you have a northeast wind. If you have a northeast, right? If you have a northeast wind, but nobody's getting it, is it a nor'easter? Kind of like if a tree falls in the forest.
Exactly. But I think there's enough north wind in this case that we got to just call it a coastal storm.
Good enough for me. I don't really care. Let's have a look. Let's have a look at what's going on at Boston College. This is a great picture. Look at this video. Chestnut Hill, Massachusetts, about 10 miles west of downtown. This is the BC campus. Look at this snow coming down really hard, guys. Not accumulating, at least right now, obviously on the surface there, because it's about, 37, 38, 39 degrees, something like that. It's well above freezing, and we're not going to see a lot of accumulation, even though it's snowing really hard because the air aloft is cold. It's just too warm near the ground. That would be in this area out here that we're going to see maybe 1 to 3 inches on some grassy surfaces or some colder surfaces. But the real snowstorm, guys, is up in there. We think there's going to be perhaps as much as a foot of snow in down East Maine. Look at this monster on the satellite pictures. My goodness. I love looking at these pictures. You can see a whole lot. And what we've got is a powerful low pressure system that is now, I think, past its peak. It's past its prime. I think the pressures are coming up a little bit, but still on its northwest side, it's got some ferocious dynamics up there, and there's a lot of lift in the atmosphere, and when the air rises like that, it cools, and that's why that cool air aloft in place over southeastern New England, that is what's transitioning things from rain to snow this morning, and you can see that on the radar in the last few hours. You've seen a sort of an expansion of blues. Watch this. Boom. There you go. In the last, say, 2 or 3 hours, the air aloft is getting a little bit colder with the lift, the ascent that's moving through, but the ground, fortunately, in this case, is well into the mid-30s, if not upper 30s. So we're not seeing significant accumulations. At least I don't think we will throughout the duration of the event. Maybe a little bit on the grassy surfaces, but it's up here, guys, where the surface temperatures are below freezing or at freezing, and we are seeing accumulation everywhere along this zone. Bangor, Maine. Last report that I saw had 3 inches of snow, and it was coming down at least at a moderate clip, meaning visibility is about a half a mile. Look at this picture from Bangor, Maine, or near it, from a National Weather Service employee. Traveling on the road must be very difficult up there with a lot of wind as well. So far, some of the snowfall total reports are not too impressive. It's going to be a lot more impressive in about 8 hours. These numbers will probably triple at least, if not quadruple. And the wind is going to continue to blow. I mean, some of these numbers are pretty impressive. Nantucket right now gusting to 60, and I just looked at a tower cam there, and they are mixing with snow. If not, they've got all snow in at times. Mount Washington, New Hampshire earlier was gusting to, check this out, 81 miles per hour. How about that? 81 on top of the mountain at 6,200 plus feet. So it's been very windy, obviously, but even down at the coast, it's been really windy with 60 mile per hour wind gusts reported up and down coastal Massachusetts. I think Duxbury had a wind gust of about 59 miles per hour. So as we move through the morning hours, we're going to lose the snow because the storm system is going to weaken and the uplift, the rising motion is going to weaken. So the atmosphere aloft will not continue to cool. So we're going to get mostly rain, I think, later on this afternoon here. But Maine will continue to get blasted by by snow and wind. And it is going to keep going through the evening hours. Probably not end in Portland until 8, Bangor until about 11. After all of that, we'll have a lot of snow on the ground. Guys, just look at this picture in the Westpac. This is a quick transition to the tropics, but there is a soon-to-be super typhoon out here. Fortunately, not going to bother anybody and remain out in the West Pacific. Guys, back to you.
All right, Greg. Yeah, thank you. A lot going on today, and all of that plus the New York City Marathon.
Yeah, that's right. We're talking about that getting underway. Those waves are starting to get going out there, and look at them getting going. I tell you, the
volunteers are out.
Yeah, they are out there full force. But again, that wind is one of those issues that they're dealing with. Plus a bit of a chill in the air as well.
Currently in our area, 61 degrees under fair skies. Here's our 7-day outlook.
The Arctic blast takes on the coast. High waves, rain, and even the possibility of more than a foot of snow in northern Maine. We're tracking the system and what it means for your work week.
And a chilly start to November, from snow in the Carolinas to record lows in Florida. Can you say #Snowvember? How long will this cold winter weather last? Well, we're trying out today's system.
Plus, blindfolded 600 feet above ground while walking a tightrope. And those aren't even the biggest challenges facing Nick Walenda's skyscraper walk tonight. We'll take you out to Chicago to check out the conditions and the obstacles he could run into.
To you and welcome into Weather Center Live. It is Sunday, November 2nd. I'm Alex Wallace.
And I'm Jen Carfagno. A lot going on this morning. We've got the New York City Marathon. We've got Nick Walenda's walk tonight. And, of course, #Snowvember with all the great snow we saw in the Carolinas and the South yesterday.
And we should remind folks that it is 10 o'clock Eastern time if you forgot to set those clocks back last night. And, of course, it's Sunday, too, so we want to see your sunrise pictures like this one. Look at this one from Huntertown, Indiana.
Oh, very pretty.
That is pretty. It looks like a barn of some sort, maybe a house. Regardless, the sun coming up in a beautiful sight.
Very crispy out there this morning, a bit frozen, but you're going to warm up nicely in Indiana. But we've got our big coastal storm. That's our other top story today across the Northeast. So let's take a look at what's happening right now.
Snow. We've got that.
All the way to Portland.
Yeah, we've seen that change over there. So we're dealing with that all the way up 95 into the Bangor area. And these areas are going to continue to deal with this snow for a good chunk of the day.
We've been watching some heavier bands rotate in up there in Maine. Now here, there is some snow coming in, and we've seen Chestnut Hill, Massachusetts, Boston College. We've seen the pictures of the snow. It's happening, yes, but it's not sticking just yet, and it's going to be mixing in with rain, I think, for a while, just thanks to the temperatures.
Yeah, that is a key here. We keep those temperatures up a bit, and we don't have to worry about any sort of roadway or issues there. But boy, wind issues, we've got them. Check out Nantucket. 43 mile per hour sustained winds gusting around 60 right now.
And it's this north wind, which is the problem. You can see right there in the Cape, we're getting some of that water piling up on some of the coastal roadways. Some minor flooding in spots has been reported this morning. A couple of roads might be closed, so we're going to be careful if you're heading out. Plus, the waves are up as well. So, I think it goes without saying, this is a keep your boats in port kind of day.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's top things out here for the rest of our Sunday. Blue areas, that's where we've got the snow. The green and yellows where we've got the rain. And you can see still south of Boston, but notice it starts to fade away as we get in towards this afternoon.
Yeah, dry air is going to move in very quickly on the back edge of all of this here. So by tonight, this is 8 o'clock. Already Portland, you're drying out. The clouds are clearing out by overnight tonight. And the same thing for us from Caribou to Bangor. We'll be clearing out by tomorrow morning. Much different look in your sky.
But we may by tomorrow have to break out the shovels, particularly here in Maine, where we've got areas maybe a foot and a half of snow to deal with.
All right, so this is what we're going to be getting, but we've already got snow yesterday in North Carolina. Some of the mountains picking up more than 20 or even up to 30 inches of snow.
Yeah, it was nothing to sneeze at there in and around the North Carolina mountains. Sugar Mountain, they're open, all thanks to some of this snow. Of course, they're adding a little bit some man-made snow as well, but getting some Mother Nature's help as well.
Yes, well, that's where we find Mike Seidel with the latest from Sugar Mountain this morning.
We're at the base of the Sugar Mountain Ski Resort here in western North Carolina. It's been a wintry weekend. The winds have calmed down. We've got 6 to 10 inches of fresh powder, and we've got the man-made snow. The guns have been roaring up here on the mountaintop since midnight Friday. Derek is here in the snowmobile. We're going to go to the base of the slope. Some of the first skiers now coming down the slope, and then we'll head over to the chairlift. What a beautiful Sunday morning here. Second day of November. The temperature at 20 degrees. The wind has backed off. Yesterday, the wind was howling. Even up on the mountaintop this morning, we had wind gusts upwards of 40 to 45 miles an hour. We're going to go right in under one of these snow guns and try to grab one of these skiers and snowboarders and see how their first run was. Let's walk right over here to this gentleman. Hello! Are you psyched?
Oh, yeah!
Let me get off the snow. What's your name?
Ensign.
Where are you from?
Concord, North Carolina.
So you were driving up, you saw the snow on the mountain, you were just, the adrenaline was pumping, huh?
Oh, absolutely. We were out yesterday, and it's nice, soft snow, and it's amazing right now.
So you're going to work it out, get the burn in your legs?
I've already got the burn right now. I'm ready to go.
Okay, good luck up there on the slopes.
Thank you.
Back on the snowmobile. And why don't we go up the slope a little bit? Can we do that, Derek? Okay, we're going to go up the slope a little bit into the snow gun snow. Now, keep in mind the snow gun snow is denser and lasts longer, because a lot of folks are thinking, yeah, it's going to be warmer this week. Well, they get the base down, and it doesn't melt as fast, and we're going right into the snow gun. But better turn around right here and head back down the hill. Whoa. Wow, this is, it feels like January out here. Look at the beautiful snow-capped mountains here in western North Carolina. There you go, the first day of the season, the second earliest opening on record at Sugar Mountain Ski Resort here in North Carolina. I'm Weather Channel meteorologist Mike Seidel. Back to you.
Looks like January. Thanks, Mike.
Yeah, Mike having too much fun out there. All right, the streets of New York busier than normal this morning, all for the New York City Marathon.
Yeah, check out the wind battling a medical tent set up along the route. Reagan Medji has more.
We're here at the starting point for the New York City Marathon on Staten Island, and basically today for the 50,000 runners expected to do that finish line to cross it, the biggest issue is the wind and the cold. This is a great example of what I can show right now as to how people, all these runners, are trying to keep warm. They're along all the live trucks here, just making sure that they can keep their muscles warm before their big race, 26.2 miles. And we're going to show you more of what these runners are dealing with. Look at all of them just packed to the gills with layers upon layers of clothing. Now, once this race starts, they're going to be stripping off those layers, and what's going to happen to the clothing is basically going to be donated to Goodwill for the homeless shelters in the area, in the New York City area. So this big race will kick off. It will go from Staten Island to Brooklyn to Queens to Manhattan, Bronx, and then back to Manhattan, 26.2 miles. And of course, we were speaking to runners today, and they said the wind is going to be at their faces. And a good tip, you want to stay in the middle of the race, not on the edges, so that way you don't have to worry about the wind hitting you from both sides. So we're here in New York City for the 44th annual New York City Marathon, and we're going to get going, and this is going to be a great race for all. Back to you.
All right, get your New York on, as the saying is going for this year's race, in the wind and the chill.
Yeah, that wind's going to be around, not really going dropping at all throughout the afternoon. 20, 25 mile an hour winds.
Temperatures will be in the mid-40s. The coldest start to the marathon on record was 40. So it's not the coldest, but it's not the warmest either.
Not too far from it.
Come to Boston Market for a full menu of meals featuring our signature rotisserie chicken, starting at just $6.99. And this holiday season, spend more time with family and friends. Let the holiday experts do the cooking. Only at Boston Market.
Tomcat bait kills up to 12 mice, faster than Decon. What will we do with all of these dead mice? Tomcat presents Dead Mouse Theater.
Hey, old frick.
Hey, Ignore.
What's up with you?
Funny you ask. I'm actually here to pillage your town.
But we went to summer camp together.
Summer camp is over.
Tomcat. Engineered to kill.
Introducing York Minis. A bite-sized new way to enjoy the full-size sensation of peppermint and rich dark chocolate. New York Minis. Get the sensation.
Thursday, a Weather Channel first, the Winter Weather Prep Rally, a day dedicated to prepping and surviving winter's worst.
Best advice, try not to travel.
In the morning.
You've got our winter weather outlook.
And at night.
This is an incredibly deadly time of year.
Yeah, it's brutal.
Watch the Winter Weather Prep Rally, Thursday morning and night on the Weather Channel.
Currently in our area, 61 degrees under fair skies. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Sundays this winter.
Get down now!
Prospectors, the $1 Million Mountain. Sundays at 9, premiering December 7th on the Weather Channel.
Fact. Every time you take Advil liquid gels, you're taking the pain reliever that works faster on tough pain than extra strength Tylenol. And not only faster, stronger too. Relief doesn't get any better than this. Advil.
Did someone say burn? Try Alka-Seltzer Relief Chews. They work just as fast and are proven to taste better than Tums Smoothies assorted fruit.
Amazing.
Yeah, I get that a lot.
Alka-Seltzer Heartburn Relief Chews. Enjoy the relief.
Thought it'd be bigger.
There's nothing I can't reach in my Subaru.
Introducing the all-new Subaru Outback. Love, it's what makes a Subaru a Subaru.
I'm the proud dad of 3 messy kids. They get stains like you wouldn't believe. This Tide Ultra Stain Release and Zap Cap helps me get out pretty much any stain.
Can I help?
Try our newest, Ultra Stain Release. Helps remove 99% of everyday stains.
Tonight, Nik Wallenda is out to make history. After his daring high-wire walks across the Grand Canyon and Niagara Falls, now he's taking on Chicago.
And as our Jim Cantore shows us, winds could add an extra challenge to today's walk.
Nik Wallenda may well be the poster boy for the saying, "The sky's the limit."
Everybody thinks that I'm crazy for what I do, but again, it all goes back to the fact that I've done this my whole life. I've walked wire since before I was 2 years old. It's something that is definitely in my blood and something that I love doing.
But the king of the high wire will be facing Chicago's unpredictable autumn weather. His major concern? The wind. Gusts have been measured up to 70 miles per hour in November. And training in his hometown of Sarasota, Florida, isn't exactly the same as skywalking between skyscrapers. Up a 15% incline, or what amounts to be about a 100-foot height difference.
I know that I've trained on a wire that is rigged to the same degree. I know that it's rigged just as long. I know endurance-wise I can make it, not an issue. But what is the wind going to be like? That's the question. And of course, that's something that plays over and over and over on my mind.
He'll be facing winds that could get very strong in between the buildings, little mini jets. What happens is that as a stream of wind pushes up against a couple of adjacent skyscrapers, it can't go through the buildings, so a lot of it gets channeled laterally left and right. That converges and then squirts in the gap in between the skyscrapers.
The averages say it's not going to be over 50 miles per hour, which makes me feel good. I've trained in 90-mile-an-hour winds consistently. Grand Canyon, I get hit with gusts of 48 miles per hour. So it's well within what we feel comfortable with, but really we feel comfortable with anything under 50, 55 miles per hour. Of course, gusts are not friendly. I don't enjoy them. It's not something I look forward to. But with that balancing pole, I have enough time to counter-react to any gust of wind, as long as it doesn't exceed that safety threshold that we set.
Besides the wind threshold, Wallenda's other no-goes would be any ice on the wire or any lightning in the area. All that seems pale in comparison to the second part of his walk. He'll go blindfolded, almost 100 feet between buildings, 65 stories high.
Losing that sense of vision is a huge thing, and it's really about an inner focus. And I've got to take my mind, which you would think it would want to, which it does. It wants to get more nervous, more fearful. Everything becomes bigger than life. Winds that are 20 miles an hour feel like they're 50 miles per hour. And I've got to keep my mind completely calm and collective, because I need to stay perfectly centered over that wire so that I don't overreact and end up coming off.
Tonight's walk is certainly going to be very exciting. Our Jim Cantore will be co-hosting along with Willie Geist and Natalie Morales. It all starts at 7 on Discovery. And then we go to Wichita, Kansas, Alex, where they're going to get a little bit windy today.
They are, in fact, already. You can see those flags whipping around out there. But here's the key here around Wichita. Those winds are out of a more southerly direction, so that's allowing us to at least warm up a little bit. So you can enjoy that because, well, the threat for shower and thunderstorm activity, that's going to be on the increase. Those southerly winds coming in out ahead of the next system. In fact, let's follow this thing as we head through the next few 7-day forecast time for us. And we'll start you off with today. We've got the unsettled and wintry weather across New England for the day. Outside of that, the eastern half of the country is very quiet, except for it being a bit on the cool side. We've got wintry conditions in the Intermountain West, Four Corners dealing with rain, and then by tomorrow, the whole system begins to work its way into the middle of the country. So there's your chance for the rain. Wichita dealing with that up towards even Kansas City into the upper Midwest. Tuesday, Election Day. Up and down the East Coast, no problems at all as you enter the polls. Could deal with some wet weather. Texas up into the Great Lakes as well as here into the Northwest. But hey, don't let that stop you. Get out the vote. It is important. All right, let's move to Wednesday. Still dealing with our rain here into Texas. Moisture streaming in, and that's going to hang around to bring us some beneficial rains until Thursday. It moves out, and now we see the wet weather here in the eastern third of the country. Could see some snow showers late week. We'll watch it here into the Great Lakes region. Friday for you, mostly New England dealing with rain, but there could be some rain and snow mixing in here. Parts of the eastern lakes down to the Appalachian chain. Warm in the southwest. We've got some 80s to enjoy next Saturday.
Average work pants versus a grab-happy grizzly. Duluth fire hose work pants versus a grab-happy grizzly. Duluth training fire hose work pants, tougher than a grizzly's grope. Get a pair. Only at DuluthTrading.com.
Melissa, what do my wife, uncle, children, and niece all have in common?
I don't know.
Absolutely nothing. That's why I go to Walmart to do all of my holiday shopping.
Great idea.
I can get that Xbox One for my son.
I want one of those.
A Keurig 2.0 for my wife.
Ooh, I'd like one.
A Fitbit for my daughter.
Oh, that sounds really
And
fun.
frozen stuff for my niece.
Kids would love that.
What are you going to get me?
The Samsung TV.
Oh, I like that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
With Walmart's unbeatable prices, you can make every day till Christmas count.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm on it. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
You're covered, Kevin.
Thanks, Melinda.
I have blah blah insurance, so person, come help.
Hey, Grandma. Now look who it is.
I see who it is.
6 callers ahead of us, Jimmy.
You're not helping.
Having insurance isn't the same as having State Farm. There to help you anytime, anywhere, anyway. That's getting to a better state.
From coast to coast, in every state, people all across the nation are learning something new. That the best way to protect their cars, trucks, and SUVs is with WeatherTech floor liners. They're laser measured to perfectly protect your specific vehicle. Front, back, even up the sides. Order yours today at WeatherTech.com or call 1-800-CarMats. WeatherTech floor liners, proudly made in America.
Monday morning on the Weather Channel, a daredevil's tightrope walk 50 stories over windy Chicago. Jim Cantori's there to show us how dangerous the weather got. Plus, could the new pocket of Arctic air keep people from voting?
What if a home phone could also be a smartphone? And what if that home phone could save you money on your home and wireless bill at the same time? With Xfinity Voice, you get amazing technology like readable voicemail on your smartphone, caller ID on your TV, and even text messaging, all for a low price. Start saving with unlimited nationwide talk and text and switch to Xfinity Voice for just $19.99 a month for 12 months. Call 1-800-XFINITY today.
Snow on the ground, it's falling faster now. There's something in the air that brings us closer. And there's people, everyday people, oh holiday. You bring the best out of me. You bring the best out of me.
That's 1-800-985-5891.
Sundays this winter. Get down now! Prospectors, the $1 Million Mountain. Sundays at 9. Premiering December 7th on the Weather Channel.
Currently in our area, 61 degrees under fair skies. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Look into Portland, Maine right now, where it has changed over to snow. So in the last hour, we've had rain. We had snow mixing with rain, and now we have all snow.
That's right. And you know what? A good portion of Maine going to have to deal with some of this snow throughout the day. Jen, we're talking about some spots that could see maybe a foot.
Yes,
foot and a half.
yeah, especially up into northeastern Maine. Now, in the Portland area, the gusty winds have also been a problem. There are power outages here, at least 8,000 customers overall throughout the Northeast. Getting word right now that there are 54,000 customers without power. The wind has been gusting over 30 miles per hour for hours now, and it's going to keep on going for several more.
That's the issue here for us. Of course, we still have some of those trees with the leaves on them, and with those winds, that can be the problem.
That was the story in the South. You know, we got the snow, which was one thing, and in in itself, but then, snow coming down in the south on top of trees that are fully leafed out, and in some cases not even changed colors yet. A big deal why there's power outages still maybe this morning getting back on track in the south. But certainly this coastal storm is a weather story in the making right now into the Northeast. So Dr. Postel is standing by with more on who's going to get snow and how much.
Jen and Alex, thank you. Yeah, there's going to be quite a bit of snow coming down, certainly in Maine, but even now in eastern Massachusetts, Boston is beginning to snow now, going over from rain to snow very recently, as have many places across that part of Massachusetts. This is how much snow we expect through tonight. Through the duration of the event, we have maybe 1 to 3 in parts of southeastern Massachusetts right there where it was raining maybe when you got up this morning there. And of course, they're going to get absolutely waxed in eastern Maine with maybe a foot of snow there with a lot of wind as well. So what's the culprit? It's this guy right here on the satellite pictures. This is a blockbuster storm. I mean, this is a very powerful system that just yesterday was part of that system that brought the snow to South Carolina. It moved offshore, the upper level circulation, triggered surface development, and now we got this beast riding up the coast. There it is. And I think the most interesting part of the whole system is the part northwest of where the L is. A lot of times you think, okay, the worst weather is near where the low pressure center is. Not so the case with these large extratropical systems. In fact, the pressure has come up a couple of millibars in the last few hours, means it's past its prime. It's weakened a little bit, but we still have on its northwest side, right in there, a lot of lift in the atmosphere, and that is cooling the air aloft. So the surface temperatures across that region may be in the middle 30s, upper 30s even, but the atmosphere aloft has gotten a lot cooler thanks to that lift, the strengthening part of that northwest side of the storm. And there we have it, the rain going over to snow. That's been the theme all morning long. We've got all kinds of pictures across the region, snowing all the way to the coast, even in Duxbury, even at Boston, anywhere in that area in blue, you got a good bet of seeing moderate snow at times that will likely accumulate on the ground. For example, here in Middleborough, Massachusetts, it is snowing and it is accumulating everywhere. And I'm thinking the temperatures are about 35 degrees there, 36 or so. So that just goes to show you how cold it is aloft, even though the surface temperatures are above freezing. Let's go to Maine now, right up here. Here's I-95 right in there, and there's a lot of blue here. That's a lot of snow, and it's coming down hard. The last report that I saw in Bangor, Maine was about 3 inches. I think they're past that by quite a bit, and it is snowing real hard. Here's a picture from a highway near Bangor, Maine, from one of the National Weather Service employees showing you how treacherous the travel conditions will be across that region. Here's the snowfall total so far. These numbers are going to go way up. We know that. They'll probably get quadrupled, I think, before the storm is done later on this afternoon and evening. And right now, the wind is also still a big story. We have some big-time wind gusts, 60 miles per hour there in Nantucket. So it is raining and snowing and very windy. And in fact, earlier today atop Mount Washington, we had a wind gust of 81 miles per hour. That would be kind of cool to be up there for that. In fact, I think I was up there one time and the winds were about 75, and that was enough for me. But yeah, windy, obviously, and just a mess. But I think in the next few hours, conditions will improve dramatically in terms of clearing out the afternoon in eastern Massachusetts, and then down east Maine, you're probably going to have to wait till about 9 or 10 o'clock tonight before this snow is gone. Guys, back to you.
All right, Greg, thank you. Watching Foxborough, watching Gillette Stadium there, and looks like it will clear out, or at least dry up before the game.
Yeah, we'll check it out. All right, well, we want to, of course, check out what you've sent us, some of those sunrise pictures, and we start you off in Wyoming.
Oh, very pretty out there this morning. Good-looking start to your day. Thank you, Tim in Gillette. Let's go to Lake Pontchartrain and from Dale. Oh, a very nice start here, and you've got a great day ahead. Temperatures get to the 60s.
Yeah, some of the better weather in the country there. All right, let's move our way into Colorado, Longmont to be exact.
Wow, this is awesome. The colors in the sky are amazing. Every single color in the sky this morning. Beautiful start to your day. We'll be right back.
What do astronauts eat?
Have lunch with one and find out. Only at Kennedy Space Center Visitor Complex. Meet real astronauts, see Space Shuttle Atlantis, and experience firsthand the future of America's space exploration.
Hi. Are we still on for tomorrow?
Tomorrow. Quick look at the weather. Nice today, beautiful tomorrow.
Tomorrow is full of promise.
We can come back tomorrow.
And we promise to keep it that way.
driven to preserve the environment. CSX moves a ton of freight nearly 450 miles on 1 gallon of fuel.
What a day.
Can't wait till tomorrow.
With diabetes, it's tough to keep life balanced. I don't always have time to eat like I should. That's why I like Glucerna shakes. They have slowly digestible carbs to help minimize blood sugar spikes.
Glucerna, the #1 doctor-recommended brand.
I've got one shot. Let's go twins right, 24 stretch.
24 stretch, all diamond. Twins right, 24 stretch, all diamonds on 2 8.
When the game's on the line,
Hit them with a hard count. See if they'll tip their hand.
the NFL trusts Duracell Quantum to power their game day communication.
They're blitzing up the gut. Get out of the pocket.
Duracell Quantum lasts up to 35% longer than the competition.
She's still the one for you. And Cialis for daily use helps you be ready anytime the moment is right. Cialis is also the only daily ED tablet approved to treat symptoms of BPH, like needing to go frequently. Tell your doctor about all your medical conditions and medicines, and ask if your heart is healthy enough for sex. Do not take Cialis if you take nitrates for chest pain, as it may cause an unsafe drop in blood pressure. Do not drink alcohol in excess. Side effects may include headache, upset stomach, delayed backache, or muscle ache. To avoid long-term injury, get medical help right away for an erection lasting more than 4 hours. If you have any sudden decrease or loss in hearing or vision, or any allergic reactions like rash, hives, swelling of the lips, tongue, or throat, or difficulty breathing or swallowing, stop taking Cialis and get medical help right away. Ask your doctor about Cialis for daily use and a free 30-tablet trial.
What does a 37 million horsepower launch feel like?
Experience it for yourself. Only at Kennedy Space Center Visitor Complex. Meet real astronauts, see Space Shuttle Atlantis, and experience firsthand the future of America's space exploration.
Thursday, a Weather Channel first, the Winter Weather Prep Rally, a day dedicated to prepping and surviving winter's worst.
Best advice, try not to travel.
In the morning,
You've got our winter weather outlook.
and at night,
This is an incredibly deadly time of year.
Yeah, it's brutal. Watch the Winter Weather Prep Rally Thursday morning and night on the Weather Channel.
Currently in our area, 61 degrees under fair skies. Here's our 7-day outlook.
If you miss tonight on the Weather Channel, you'll never know how twisted weather can be. Wicked Weather Sundays, tonight at 9, only on the Weather Channel.
Huge waves and heavy rain pelt the coast of Maine, and that's just a preview of what we could see later today. With more than a foot of snow expected in some areas, this Arctic blast is far from over.
And quite the windy start to the New York City Marathon. Just check out this video. We've got a look at conditions runners are facing today.
Well, welcome back into Weather Center Live. I'm Alex Wallace.
And I'm Jen Carfagno. This Arctic blast that had a grip on the nation since Friday is still hanging on.
Yeah, and we are certainly feeling the impacts across parts of the Northeast, particularly New England.
Yes.
Portland, Maine, we've been watching them all morning. They were dealing with the rain. That's started to mix. Now it's pretty much snow.
Now it's snowing.
There it is.
If you don't have a window in Portland, we've got one for you right here. Take a look. We got the snow coming down.
It has really reduced the visibility quite a bit out there for us with those Whipping around. That's caused some problems out there for us, dealing with numerous customers without power out there across the Portland area. And we could see this getting worse across the state of Maine as we track this coastal storm. Let's find out what we will be dealing with now with Jen.
And certainly there are roads in Maine that are snow covered. There in Portland wasn't the case, but there are other spots we've seen, like in Bangor and up in Caribou, where in between we've got the snow that's been coming down now for hours. And in Portland right now we've got light snow, temperature 35 degrees, the wind gusting to 33 miles per hour. The wind is what makes it feel so uncomfortable out there, and we're dealing with it all the way through all of northeastern Maine. You can see I-95. It is snowed the entire stretch all the way up to the top there in Maine. Also, down in Boston, we are now mixing in rain and snow, and south of Boston, where we started mixing in a little bit earlier, and that's where some of the brighter echoes are coming in as well. This is where we're getting some snow that's sticking on the grass. Saw a report of that around Carver, Massachusetts, which is not too far from Plymouth. We saw the scenes earlier this morning coming out of Boston College. Snowflakes are flying out there. We're going to be looking for the wind to be blowing around anything that's falling, whether it's snow or rain or a mix of both. And we're going to be looking at those winds gusting easily over 30 miles per hour. But look at Nantucket. Oh, what a day. Gusting to 60 miles per hour. Had a live report earlier this morning from Justin Michaels there, and he was out in the Cape, and I think Sandwich. Anyway, he said he talked to a local resident, and the guy said this was the best of days. If you live out here, you got to be used to at least getting one of these kind of days a year, and so you must at least be able to deal with it. If not, love it. The waves are up over 15 feet in spots, and is going to be some minor coastal flooding. We've seen some reports of that already, and some of those typical prone areas. Now let's time it out of here, right? So this is your noontime forecast into the early afternoon. Already you'll see the skies clearing in Massachusetts. By evening, the skies are clearing. The rain is certainly out of here, or the snow, regardless of what it is. In Portland, too, by evening, you're clearing out. And then into northeastern Maine, we'll see it all coming out and moving out of the area by late tonight. So tomorrow is going to be a much different sky when you step out of your door. The snow, though, however, will still be around, because we're picking up anywhere from 8 to 12 inches of snow in spots like Bangor. Caribou, probably 8 to 12. There'll be a few spots nearby that get more than a foot of snow. Boston, we might get an inch in the grass out there, especially south of town, maybe a couple of more where it's been hanging on a little bit. And then everyone gets in on the wind. And we will see that from Portland, where winds have been easily gusting over 20-25 miles per hour, to D.C., to Philadelphia, and certainly to New York City, where the marathon runners are battling the wind right now. Alex.
Well, you'll probably see the term Snowvember a lot on social media today. With such a snowy start to the month, we're bringing some of you your first snowflakes of the season. As our Mike Seidel shows us, it also brought fun to the North Carolina mountains.
We're at the base of the Sugar Mountain Ski Resort here in western North Carolina. It's been a wintry weekend. The winds have calmed down. We've got 6 to 10 inches of fresh powder, and we've got the man-made snow. The guns have been roaring up here on the mountaintop since midnight Friday. Derek is here in the snowmobile. We're going to go to the base of the slope. Some of the first skiers now coming down the slope, and then we'll head over to the chairlift. What a beautiful Sunday morning here, second day of November. The temperature at 20 degrees. The wind has backed off. Yesterday, the wind was howling. Up the mountaintop this morning, we had wind gusts upwards of 40 to 45 miles an hour. We're going to go right in under one of these snow guns and try to grab one of these skiers and snowboarders and see how their first run was. Let's walk right over here to this gentleman. Hello! Are you psyched?
Oh, yeah!
Let me get off the snow. What's your name?
Edson.
Where are you from?
Concord, North Carolina.
So you were driving up, you saw the snow on the mountain, you were just, the adrenaline was pumping, huh?
Oh, absolutely. We were out yesterday, and it's nice, soft snow, and it's amazing right now.
So you're going to work it out, get the burn in your legs?
I've already got the burn right now. I'm ready to go.
Okay, good luck up there on the slopes.
Thank you.
Back on the snowmobile. And why don't we go up the slope a little bit? Can we do that, Derek? Okay, we're going to go up the slope a little bit into the snow gun snow. Now, keep in mind the snow gun snow is denser and lasts longer, because a lot of folks are thinking, yeah, it's going to be warmer this week. Well, they get the base down, and it doesn't melt as fast, and we're going right into the snow gun. Well, I better turn around right here and head back down the hill. Whoa. Wow, this is, it feels like January out here. Look at the beautiful snow-capped mountains here in western North Carolina. There you go, the first day of the season, the second earliest opening on record at Sugar Mountain Ski Resort here in North Carolina. I'm Weather Channel meteorologist Mike Seidel. Back to you.
Looks like fun.
Yeah, he's having a blast. Well, today more than 1 million people are going to be lining the streets of New York to cheer on thousands of runners there in this year's New York City Marathon.
All right, let's take a live look at New York City, where the wind has been the biggest concern for runners this morning. The wind was blowing over 25 to up to 40 miles per hour.
Yeah, and that has certainly been the story here, causing some problems. In fact, Jen, they had to actually decrease the amount of the tents and some of the other structures around the race and the course because of these winds.
Some of the signage, and there'll be volunteers out there to make sure you know where to go. And I imagine with 50,000 runners, you just follow the pack and you'll get to the finish. Our Reagan Medji is there as runners hit the ground this morning.
Well, we're here on Staten Island in New York City, and this is the starting point of the 44th annual New York City Marathon. Now, 50,000 participants are expected to cross that finish line in Central Park in Manhattan. And of course, the biggest factor today, as you can tell with my hair blowing in the wind, is the wind itself. Now, we talked about the participants. I'm joined now by a first-time marathon runner, Amy Falkenbach of New York City, formerly of Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. And basically, this is the first time you're running. So what is going through your mind at this point, specifically because of the weather?
I'm a little nervous. It's very, very windy. I'm just trying to stay warm till I take off at 11. So I have a bit of time to hang out, but.
So you got a lot of time to think.
A lot of time.
So now you were on the bus this morning. They have to actually meet in Manhattan. They get shipped here. What was the talk on the bus?
People were talking about the wind and how you should stay in the middle of the pack to avoid the gusts. So hopefully that will work in my advantage. I'll try to stay in the middle, but we'll see.
Okay. Okay. And now there's also like a cause greater than just running for yourself. You're also running for your mom. Explain that.
I'm running for Fred's team. They fight against cancer. My mom's fighting colon cancer right now. So we're raising money for that, and it should be a great cause, and I'm excited for today.
Right.
So.
And good luck to you, and of course, good luck to your mom. Of course, the 44th New York City Marathon here, starting at Staten Island. Of course, the wind, a huge factor. Back to you.
All right, Reagan, thank you for that. And it's going to be either a crosswind or a headwind for most of the race.
Yeah. Plus, of course, the chill out there. But, I love hearing the stories of why people are running. It's really fantastic and inspiring.
So very windy right through the entire race. It does, get knocked down a little bit to 19 miles per hour to